Oh, hi. My name's Adam. I am an ecologist out here at the Litzinger Road Ecology Center. Just hanging out on a lovely spring day, sitting outside, reading a nice little book about a turtle named Mossy. So it's a wonderful little story, written and illustrated by Jan Brett, that I'm really excited to share with you guys today. And one thing I really like about this book is all these wonderful illustrations you can see on the cover and on the insides. So there's lots of neat drawings of plants and insects and nature themes. And if you look closely, we can even identify some of the flowers on here. So we have a couple trilliums, we have some wild geranium, we have a columbine over here, we have some violets down here, and even some wild strawberries. And a lot of these are actually native species that we can find out here at the Litzinger Road Ecology Center, or maybe even in a park near you. So I thought that was really cool. So let's get into the story. Oh, and of course, lots of cool drawings of moss. So Mossy by Jan Brett. On a misty, moist morning, a young turtle stood at the edge of Lily Pad Pond. Her name was Mossy. Mossy liked this damp, cool place. She spent so much time here that curlicues of moss began to grow on her carapace, until her share was covered with them. As the spring days got warmer, tiny ferns unfurled and wildflowers began to blossom. Soon, Mossy's shell was home to an amazing garden. Mossy liked to look at her reflection in Lily Pad Pond and see what was growing in her garden. Every day brought a surprise, a new flower, or perhaps a delicious wild strawberry. Mossy's garden was growing wider and taller. One day, Mossy was standing by Lily Pad Pond when the water rippled and two ruby red eyes looked up at her. It was a handsome turtle she hadn't seen before. Scoot had never seen a lady turtle like Mossy. He thought her garden was pretty, but it was Mossy who made his heart beat fast. She was breathtaking. Scoot scrambled up the bank and walked toward Mossy. Entranced by those ruby eyes, Mossy made her way into the open toward Scoot. Just then, Dr. Carolina, on her morning walk with her niece, Tori, spotted Mossy. Gently, Dr. Carolina picked her up and said, "She is perfect for the museum." Never had Dr. Carolina's museum had a wonder as extraordinary as a garden-growing turtle. She and Tori made a home for Mossy in a viewing pavilion with plants, a reflecting pool, and everything they thought a turtle would need. But Mossy already had everything she needed back at Lily Pad Pond, and she longed to go home and find her new friend. And every day, Scoot waited for Mossy, but Mossy didn't come back. All summer, visitors came to see Mossy in her famous garden. They watched her eat raspberries and mealyworms, mushrooms and lettuce. But Mossy didn't seem happy to Tori, and Dr. Carolina was too busy to notice. Mossy was lonely for Scoot. She had stopped looking at her garden in the reflecting pool because it made her remember those ruby red eyes, shining like jewels, peering up at her from Lily Pad Pond. Thoughts of Scoot only made her sad. Snow fell outside, but inside the museum, Mossy's garden kept growing and people flocked to see her. Dr. Carolina was thrilled that Mossy had made her museum famous. Today, Tori and her class had come to see Mossy. The meteorites and geos amazed the children. They loved the woodland diorama, the butterflies and the shells. Finally, Dr. Carolina said it was time to see a special exhibit. The children gathered around the viewing pavilion. At first they didn't see Mossy. Then she started to walk, her magnificent garden swaying back and forth. The little turtle captivated the kids. Mossy is a special turtle, Dr. Carolina told them. Her garden grows and changes all year round. She's never hungry or cold. She's safe living in the museum. Here with us, Mossy could live to be 100 years old. Tori frowned. She loved the museum. She had helped her aunt collect the wonderful things on her walks. But Mossy was the first living creature that Dr. Carolina had taken to live in the museum. Is that really why she looks so sad? Tori wondered. You think Mossy is happy here? Does she have any turtle friends? The children asked. No. But here we have all the opportunity to see her. Dr. Carolina paused. The children had given her an idea. On the first day of spring, a sign in front of the museum read, "Closed. Do not disturb." 2 women arrived in the back of the museum. Dr. Carolina and Tori were there to meet them. Everyone wondered what this meant. 1 day passed, then 2 days passed, then 3. And after a week, everyone was invited inside. Dr. Carolina introduced the 2 mystery women. "Please meet Flora and Fauna," she said. The curtain was pulled aside, revealing a portrait of Mossy, larger than life, with her garden painted in glowing detail. Flora had painted all the plants. Fauna had painted Mossy. Together the artists captured a moment in time that would never fade. Everyone cheered and clapped. At dusk, Dr. Carolina gently put Mossy in a collection basket and said, "Come with me." And she and Tori went off to take Mossy back to Lily Pad Pond. Together, they said goodbye to their garden-growing friend and put her in the glade next to the waterfall, exactly where Dr. Carolina had found her. Mossy was home. The next morning, the warm spring sun woke up Scoot from his bed beneath the leaves. He opened his ruby eyes and saw Mossy. Their year apart vanished into the past. At the museum, the portrait of Mossy continued to amaze visitors. "What extraordinary work of art and nature," they would exclaim. The world changed as the years went by and Tori grew up, but Mossy's portrait is there in Dr. Carolina's museum for all to see, not knowing that not far away, on the misty, moist edge of Lily Pad Pond, an old turtle still stands. Her name is Mossy. The end. Well, I hope you all enjoyed the story of Mossy as much as I did. And as things get warmer and we move further into spring, you might be spending more time outside. Try to take a moment and notice how many different kinds of flowers and plants are growing up around you. And if you're really lucky, you might even see a wild turtle yourself with or without moss growing on its shell. But remember, it's better to leave wild plants and animals in nature where you find them instead of trying to bring them home. Because although you might think you'd be able to take care of it yourself, chances are it's going to be much happier in its natural habitat where it belongs. Till next time, bye everyone.